where to go when it's time to tune in to Cowboys Sports Talk and beyond. That's including the ice wall, baby. People have a lot of things to say, a lot of things to do. People have a lot of things and questionings about this particular team. But before we go any further, put a 1 in the chat if the audio is straight. Come on with it. Mama said there'll be days just like this. Come on with it. Yep. They say ain't no party like a cowboy party. But what about a Law Nation's groove? From my studios to yours. Tuning in to Cowboys Sports Talk.
Run from it. Destiny arrives all the same.
One thing we all adore is something worth dying for. Come on with it. Trade back gang. Ace, I see you in the chat. Jason, appreciate you. Come on with it. Yeah. Come on. Come on with it.
And they understand.
Let this room fill up. Come on, Scarecrow. Put a 3 in the chat if you got the what we want to call it, the notification swat up. Yep. 5, 4. Smitty! Come on. It's all good. And 1. All right. Appreciate y'all. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. I appreciate you guys so much for tuning in to the Cowboys Sports Talk and beyond. This day is a day in the middle of the week. We got a few days before we go into the draft and all of the speculations and expectations and deviations and all of those things. You had to move those things and put it to the side, right? And yes, Smitty says, let's address Cowboys business. We them boys. Yes, we definitely going to do that as the room fill up. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. 49ers talking about Walter Nolan, Shamar Stewart. Both of those guys could be valuable pieces in the Walter Nolan thing. You know, my Mississippi boy, you know, we can definitely do some things down the stretch if he is in the silver and blue with the star on the side of the helmet. Now, the draft every year the draft is more like there's about maybe on the high end 17 true first round draft picks. On the high end, right? First round draft grades. You know, on the low end, 12 to maybe 13. So we are right at that sweet spot. Not to say that you can't find a dynamic or a dominant player when you get into the 20s, but 9 times out of 10, your first premium picks are with the first 15 to 17 picks. So we are right there at the 12th spot. Now, what we can do is, and shout out to Boss Cowboy Sports last night, They're doing some unbelievable things out there in the field as well. So they can really, and we're going to pull that up for what they've been talking about that they are doing, him and the OC, you know. Not that song, but let me get to the other one. Yeah. They can really talk about that before I break down one of his points. I just want to give kudos and credence to my guy. Come on with it. He says he's been really in the field, and we can see it. Play that beat. It's good seeing my guy, the OC, working. He's really in the field with these players, so it's good to see him training and getting things going. You know, I tell people all the time, there's two most important days of your life. The day you was born and the day you realize your purpose. And you see the other shadow in the shadows, you know. That's Boss Cowboy Sports Shadow right here, you know. And then that's the OC, man. So put a round of applause to those boys, man, for working and getting things going. Yeah. Appreciate y'all, man. So appreciate all what they are able to do out there, and they are really in the field, right? Some people talk about it, they being about it, and that's what you got to do, right? You got to be about it. So shout out to them. Law, this is Josh who called in yesterday. I am Scarecrow Bro. Appreciate you, Josh. Appreciate you, man. Thank you for sharing your story. Third most important is getting drafted. Yeah. So back to this philosophy talk, right? Of what Stephen Jones been talking about, where we going to go with, and what we need to do. Of course, we will have our running back favors. We have our wide receiver favors. But we will have our tight ends, our pause if necessary, offensive linemen, guys that you favor, right? You will have all of those things put into the right particular order, right? But in actuality, ladies and gentlemen, the draft is a crap shot, right? And what you want to do is get as many top 100 draft picks as possible for your team, right? That's just the reality of it. All right, so with that being said, let's listen to one part of Quinshon Judkins.
Say Jerry Jones. He's really funny. He's a great guy. He's awesome. Got to talk ball. Got to just have a great sit down and, you know, just ask certain questions.
You asked him questions?
We asked each other questions. I think that's something that is important for especially an athlete to ask those questions. Most people don't, but I feel like for myself, you know, if you have questions, it's important to ask. So
what did you ask him?
I can't remember exactly what I asked him, but whatever came to the mind at that particular point, I just asked literally.
It's so interesting because he sticks out to everyone. He's like this larger than life figure. He's a bit older, yet somehow players can really relate to him and love these moments with him. It's so what is it about these moments with him? He's just this icon.
Yeah, I wouldn't say only that, but you know, as an owner of an organization, he has a great relationship with a lot of his players too. And I think that's the case with a lot of different owners, and that stuff is important in this league.
Ashton Genty told me that he had a wrestling belt, like a championship belt, when he met Jerry Jones. Did he have any props when you met him? What stuck out? Paint me the picture.
Nah, he was in the room. I think he was drinking coffee. I walked in. He was like, "Come on, come in the room," and we just sat down. He was drinking coffee. He had no belt or anything like that, but we just had a little sit down for a little minute and just talked it out.
Did you ask him about Micah Parsons?
Nah.
Nah, he ain't gonna ask about another man's pockets and stuff like that. I can only see where I'm at, right? Be where your feet at. Sometimes you can overanalyze things and get things going in the wrong direction. But the right direction would be this right here, ladies and gentlemen. Who in favor of Quinshon Judkins, man? Right. Who's right now? You know, shout out to Jason Barnes. Appreciate you. Can't wait until the real thing, you know. Come on with it. I can't wait till next week, too, so we can get this all out the way. who want Quinshon Judkins here? Because what I'm formulating with a team is that we can look at it from two perspectives. One being, okay, who will be the players that we will have on this team? Two being, what will be the true identity of the philosophy that we're going to exhibit? Right? What do you mean about that? What I'm meaning is how are we going to approach the game? With physicality, speed. They are already changing out a lot of things within the confines of the Cowboys organization. Got a chance to talk to Coach for more than 15 to 20 minutes on this right here. Also, they are implementing things across the board that they haven't done before. And sometimes you can be riding shotgun with someone, right? How they drive is a whole different from when you get into the driver's seat and they say, well, man, you made this 5-hour trip feel like 2 hours. And that happens all the time. You guys can relate to that, right? And that's just for what it is. It's just for what it is. Lee, a.k.a. Hard Hitter or Hunter, states that a McGriddle with salt, Yeah. Jerry passing out finger tacos. Yeah, oh, man, boy, y'all crazy this morning. Yes, indeed. Let's talk about the other running back that they could get in this draft if he falls to the 12th spot.
Michael Irvin, a friend of mine, came on the show and he said that you'd be a difference maker with the Cowboys, loves your game. He sees Emmitt Smith in you, which is crazy. I know you had a meeting with them. You were, as I said, Lone Star, Frisco. How would it feel to wear a star on your helmet?
I mean, it would be great. It'd be a special opportunity, and to really to play for any team in the NFL would be great. But
that's PR talk.
Just the fact that I grew up here, just a little different, but all opportunities, any team would be great.
Have you met Jerry Jones? How'd it go?
I did meet Jerry Jones.
You did?
Yeah, I did.
Tell me.
Kay Adams is killing it, man. They got a full team of people that book and get these guys in the seat for her, and she's killing it, man. And give a round of applause to Kay Adams, man. Put K.A. in the chat because she's doing an unbelievable job, and I want to give her flowers while I'm using some of the content that she's been able to exhibit. That's a good thing what Kay Adams is doing.
About it.
It went well. I mean, we was just chopping it up. Talking footballs, talking about Super Bowls. So, that was
Is he what you thought he'd be like a kind of a larger than life cartoon character?
Oh yeah, for sure. Definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, when I came in the room, he was holding this like championship belt and just looking at it. And I was like, where's this gonna go?
What kind of belt was it? From what?
It was from a boxing championship that they had at the stadium some years ago.
Okay, weird.
Yeah.
Why is he holding that?
I don't know. Maybe he thinks I could be a champ or something,
I think he did. I mean, they picked 12. They'd have to move up to get you. I'd like.
Yeah, the soothing voice, Oh, my gosh, Yeah. Why is he holding it? Oh, Lord. Yes, indeed. Boy, I tell you, with that being said, it becomes more of a reality that Ashton Genty would not be there with the 12th pick. It's becoming more and more of the reality that.
Are you not entertained?
That the Dallas Cowboys will have several options to do certain things in order to propel themselves in the right direction. Now, before we get into the meat and potatoes of this conversation, I just want to tell you guys with Tyron Smith, I think that he did a noble thing with the Cowboys for all of those years. I think it's hovering around. He played in the National Football League for 14 years. For 14 years. He entered the draft of 1920. I ain't talking about the year. I think he was either 19 years old or 20 years of age. And he's an old, young man. He played 14 years. Zach Martin played about 11. Zach Martin is still older than Tyron Smith, I believe, right? That's how crazy that is. But for him to be able to retire and sign back with the Cowboys for a one-day deal. That a one-day contract is everything. And I've seen people pull and rip the Band-Aid off and say, hey, Tyron, can you give us one more time, because he was on a team that, last season, a lot of people were talking about Fashanu, and I'm old enough to remember people talking about Elijah Verataka and all of those guys that played on the line for the Jets, and they still wasn't good. But Tyron Smith played good, last season. So, but shout out to him, and let's listen to what they had to say.
That's right. One of the best left tackles of his generation, one of the best left tackles of all time, and potential Hall of Famer, Tyron Smith, the Cowboys left tackle for more than a decade, 8-time Pro Bowler, 5-time All-Pro, officially going to sign a one-day contract with the Dallas Cowboys. That is going to be today. He's going to have a news conference to address the end of his career and get celebrated for the kind of career he had. And, this is one of those players, not the most high profile, didn't score any touchdowns, didn't do a lot of media, didn't do any commercials. But if you know, you know. And on this Cowboys offensive line with Travis Frederick, with Zach Martin, with Tyron Smith, there was a very good reason it was one of the best in the NFL. Maybe the best at the NFL at the time, and certainly one of the best we have seen in a long time. Tyron Smith officially calling it a career. Obviously had a year with the Jets last year. Did not work out as he anticipated. They're going to be celebrated for the career he had, especially with the Dallas Cowboys. That is going to be today.
Shout out to Rappaport about that. So I don't know when the presser will be. Is it live right now? Y'all let me know. We'll tune right into it. Here's what I got with the big three, basically. Travis, Zach, and Tyron. My ideology of all of that is that we could talk about what a waste of time that these guys had here at the Dallas Cowboys facility. But we could talk about the good things that they had too, And when you start to look at everything and you start saying to yourself, all right, cool, Law. Well, we need the results, man. Everyone have a reason, but the results are what matter. And with us having all of those three guys, we didn't get anything accomplished. I get all of that. But now it's not the time to beat them up, because at the end of the day, here's what I got with Tyron Smith. Even though he's retired in these sorts in the Cowboys, let me see. Hold on. I think I got some news that's hitting now. Okay, that's just Brian Baldinger breaking it down. All right, so even though all of this is occurring, and we can say his career was for what it was, I got to add the context to it. I think that the Cowboys should have had a Super Bowl appearance with these three if they had the proper coaching involved. Jason Garrett, real nice guy, real humble guy, real, thorough guy as it relates to certain things. But I just don't think that he could coach himself out of a wet paper bag, and we missed those opportunities because of coaching, not because of these three players. And the history and time would tell, because when it's time for them to go to the Hall of Fame, people going to pull up that these boys were road graders, And Tyron Smith, who is a real good friend and family and follower of the show, it goes to show you that. And let me see if I can find this picture right here. Boom. yeah. That's me and him, man. Look how big his hand is literally bigger than my head over there. Pause if necessary. But this dude, Tyron Smith, is one of those guys, is one of those ones that I thought that he originally had the Pat Mahomes type of contract, right? He was originally one of those boys that when you think about it and say to yourself, hey, he took the hometown discount, right? Now, he kept getting hurt, But at the end of the day, if you see him walking around the streets, you would never think that he's an offensive lineman. You'd be like, man, is he one of those defensive tackles, edge guys, I meant to say, because he don't look like most offensive linemen got their bellies and stuff, man. He was the first ones, man, with a six-pack, and with muscles and shredded, looking like he's Miles Garrett over there, But at the end of the day, he can now walk off into the sunset knowing that he's going to be a gold jacket guy, Ring of Honor guy. Him, Travis Frederick, and Zach Martin. Yeah, big facts. Law. Shout out to you, Brandon. Law, Lil Fry the next to Tyron Smith. Yeah. I would say something, Angie, but God gave me all of my girth and height elsewhere.
Swallow that.
I couldn't help myself, I couldn't help myself. Yo, let's get to the main entree of this conversation.
The draft continues with Dallas Cowboys Executive Vice President Stephen Jones. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, guys. How you doing?
We're doing good. I hope you're doing good as well. I know yesterday was the start of voluntary workouts, and fans were excited. And a lot of people focused in on Micah Parsons being there. I know you have a lot of other players on the team as well. But how much, if at all, do you factor in leadership when you're negotiating a player's contract or something?
Hey, before we go further, let me know if the audio is straight. And shout out to 105.3 The Fan and this wonderful interview. Yeah. Put a 1 in the chat if the audio is straight. Come on with it.
Something along those lines.
Well, anytime you're going to commit resources like we're talking about with Micah or Dak or a CD, everything factors in. It's football character, it's personal character, it's obviously skills and what they bring to the table. They're, what position did they play on the field? Obviously, the 3 guys I just talked about are all really important positions in the NFL in terms of edge rusher, number 1 receiver, and quarterback. But, the full body of work goes in there, the health picture, everything. So, the leadership is certainly a big part of it.
One of the things that Dak Prescott said was in contract negotiations, you just got to stay positive, make sure that the team knows what you want and what you believe. Do you feel at this point you understand what Micah Parsons wants and what he believes for this team going forward?
Yeah, I think we, you always have a feel for it. And certainly, whether it's a Dak, a CD, or a Micah, I mean, there's no question he wants, paid in a way that's, commensurate with what he feels like he brings. And certainly, we're trying to, a little bit works, where the rub comes is we're trying to not only keep guys like Dak and CD and Micah, but we're also trying to put, a team around them that can be and can compete and, win championships. And so obviously we're trying to get them to, come a little our way and take into an account some of the things that are positive about playing for the Cowboys, playing, in Texas and, those type of things, and obviously they're trying to maximize, their value on their contract. So it's, it's all well-meaning. It's just, a lot of times a journey to get there.
When you say one of the benefits of playing in Texas, would that include the lack of a state income tax?
All right, I'm getting my phone is just tap dancing, and hold tight for me, ladies and gentlemen. I got to send this message out, so y'all may see me flip over to let's do some B-rolls over here, and so I can take care of business over here. Hold tight for me, y'all. Y'all can still hear audio though.
Sure, I mean, everybody knows that's the case here. The cost of living compared to, some of these bigger cities in the NFL. Certainly comes into an account, and at the end of the day, we're looking for some credit for that. And the main reason for it is we're gonna spend to the cap year in and year out, and over the course of time, we're gonna spend our money to try to get as many good players as we can. So that's the art of the deal.
Hey, Steven, I know a lot of the conversation this offseason, and one of the pitches from your head coach, Brian Schottenheimer, was culture. And I've always been curious, who in his mind and who in your mind has the biggest impact on a culture in this locker room? Is it just the guys that are paid the most? Who has the big impact on the culture?
Well, obviously, it's always going to, probably people are going to point to the quarterback position, the leader of the team. And, I think we got one of the best in the business, especially, when it comes to culture. I think Dak, certainly epitomizes, what it's like to be a leader and set great examples, set the, try to do everything he can to set the culture, but certainly it can't be done alone. You got to have leaders on both sides of the ball and on your special teams phase, and ultimately you build it through the type of players you bring into your organization, and so I think those obviously that's important, certainly, and then the leadership within the organization, whether that's your head coach and your coaching staff, whether that's your ownership, all that goes into creating a culture.
Now, no doubt. So let me give y'all some feedback on this. I've been campaigning for culture here in Dallas to be changed and be looked upon differently, right? And we really appreciate you, Brandy. Thank you so much for your support. All of you guys' support will go to the Oxnard Fund. And with the Oxnard Fund, it's going to help me get out there so we can give you quality content, especially after the draft. We're going to start the Oxnard Fund tremendously. We need your help over here, and I really appreciate you. Brandy Mahoney states that Steven is lying. His lips is moving. You know how you know Steven Jones is lying? Because his lips are moving. Oh, okay. Yes, indeed. Oh, my goodness. Stephen Jones is not as good as Jerry as it relates to that part, though, because Jerry gives you a little bit more of a chauvinist, right? He will also, he's charismatic to a degree, story time Jerry, and Jerry have the inability to lie most of the time. He would tell you exactly the truth, whereas Stephen, he's more crafty with his conversations and wordplay. So we will see. We shall soon see how all of this can work its way out, Cowboy Nation. Appreciate y'all, man. Thank every one of you guys.
The other part, too, though, is next week, big draft. I know there's a lot. We're getting really amped up about that right now. Have you ever in your history seen a rookie come in and completely change a locker room and completely change a culture?
Two. If you don't say the two rookies came in 2016, Zeke and Dak, they changed the entirety of the room or how we approach the game. Here's the thoughts, and I get it. Most people still kind of mad and angry and upset at Dak. I get all of that, But Zeke, I think that Zeke changed the entirety of their locker room in 2016. I mean, he was throwing candy. He was happy-go-lucky, and that's almost a decade ago now. But I'm giving you guys what one rookie did, and the NFL saw that and said, "Down, boy! Yeah." They animal abuse Zeke, and I'm gonna talk about that until our Moses hair over here, But it is for what it is. A rookie can't change the outcome of a team.
Yeah, I mean, it is done. I mean, usually it takes time, but as of late, I thought, Zeke was one of those guys.
Okay, good.
Who stepped right in and, created in the running game of physicality, which those teams that win a lot of football games can run the football, and he stepped right in from day one and really brought a physical toughness to our team. But it certainly can be done. It can be done through the offensive line. It can be done, obviously, we haven't done it in a while because we've had Dak here for so long. But Dak was one of those guys that stepped right in and I think really set a tone
Well, me and him on the same page. I got virgin ears to this audio. Haven't heard it all. Now y'all got me thinking, like, who had the ability to change, and for and for fair use purposes, I got to stop every now and then on these clips here to give you guys my commentary. Here's what I got here. Parsons was the guy that's on defense who changed the tone of this team. To a degree, believe it or not, although he wasn't like a star-studded player, he approached the game in a very calculated way. And when we were winning, it worked, But when we lose, it was like, it's neither here nor there type of approach. But I got to give him this right here. This dude, when he was here. Y'all know who voice that is. Put that in the chat. I think that he changed some of the ways when we were on that little run of corralling the football team together, right? It's just that, sometimes people become leaders of men, but they don't have the results, if I can say that, right? And that's one of the issues when we have a leader that didn't really give you impact on the field, but he was a leader that people listened to, right? And let me play that one more time for those who don't understand. And I ain't gonna say his name because he my guy, but y'all. Yeah. Y'all know exactly who I'm talking about if you've been following this channel for a minute.
When Tony got hurt and really filled in, and now to do that, you've got to be a great football player and play right away. If you're gonna be able to step up, it's always been said, really be a leader and be somebody who people follow, and you set a culture. You've got to be not only great off the field, but you got to be a great player on the field too.
One of the things I really
boy, me and Stephen Jones on the same page, baby. Yeah, you got to be great on the field and off the field. Curse, I believe he was good for a teaspoon of seconds, And then he got, the ironing board hips when he was out there in space, and he turned just like this to cover, Oh, Lord, he turned just like this, and the ball was down the field 30 yards, But, and I was sitting there saying, like, put one yay in, man. He got hips. Curse had no hips. It was, shoot. Hey. But it is for what it is.
Enjoy talking with you about is the mechanisms of the salary cap. I feel like you usually give us really great insight. Can you walk our fans through maybe the idea of flipping some of the switches on contracts like Dak and other players if the money is maybe not going to be immediately used in terms of free agency?
Yeah, I mean, all of our big contracts, we have mechanisms within the contract, that it's not even negotiated. We just have the right to convert, salary to signing bonus, which in turn spreads out, that salary over the life of the contract. And certainly that creates room. To give you an example, if you've got a $10 million salary and the player's under contract for 5 years and you give him you give him that in a bonus, 10 of the 12, let's say, then, that 10 goes to counting 2, and the rest of the 8 is spread over the remaining 4 years. So all those mechanisms are especially in the big contracts. If you were to look at our salary cap today, there's, about 7 or 8 guys who have, salaries that, are big enough that you can do something with, not to that degree necessarily. Those are usually the bigger ones like Dak and, CD and a player like Diggs and guys like that. But, there's really only about normally, 7 or 8 of those guys that you can do that with. The rookies are usually, playing under their rookie deal, and they have much smaller deals. And then you have a lot of players like we did this year in free agency. And, but, in general, those mechanisms are in place, so we can do those type of things. Obviously, we've done it with Dak on a regular basis, and that's one of the things that does create an unusual cap situation, because we're still paying for part of his old contract because we spread it out over time, and we still have some of the remaining amortization left from his old contract in addition to what we're paying him currently.
And I hope
that boy, he's the lucky. Try to pull a spot rack because they give you the full breakdown. I think that their website is down. It just keeps spinning. But we had $37 million. And he's saying spending up to the cap. Now, the strategy and the philosophy of this draft, of course, you get cheaper players when your draft players hit. But you don't win long term, and it's not sustainable when you do it that way. So you got to have a mixture of free agency, draft, and as well as acquisition as far as trade. But under the other circumstances, you got to work and whoop that salary cap, right? So we're moving a lot of money around, right? And we're going to talk about Ramsey. I'm trying to save some of the content for later on today. We'll be on Cowboys Collective, by the way. It's going to be me, John Machota, AOC, and Foots the King. We're going to talk about these things, right? But in actuality, whooping the financial structure of a team is a major thing, not a minor thing. Come on with it.
Old contract in addition to what we're paying him currently.
And I hope you think this is a fair question. I guess one of my questions specifically for Dak is, why would you continue to do that when you said the money was still kind of left over from the last deal and the quarterback is getting older and coming off of another injury? Like, is there any concern that that's a pretty delicate balancing act there?
It's a fair question, but obviously we have a lot of confidence that, Dak's injury was, one of those that was just unfortunate. We feel like Dak's healthy. I think it's well documented. He's talked about it and what he's done with his body and, how he's getting his body ready to play for this year. But, we feel like Dak's going to be a healthy player for us for the life of his contract, which actually the actual contract, is starting this year. And we feel like it's he's going to be a healthy, productive quarterback in this league for us that will play at the very top of his game and give us a chance to win championships.
Stephen, when you have we
don't know as far as the health of a player. That's why we use the player evaluations 365. We can have speculations that a player in hopes that a player will stay healthy, right? But I'm always trying to look to better my best. And this is no shade or knock at Dak Prescott. But you should always challenge and continue to say, hey, as the GM, my job is to replace the coaches if the things don't go right with coaches. And the coach's job is to also say to the players, my job is to develop you, right? And I'm talking about from the 53 man all the way to the first man. And we can talk about the other practice squad guys and beyond. But in actuality, ladies and gentlemen, football is a game to game, week to week, month to month, year to year league. And there's no ifs, ands, and buts about it. But no one will give you bevies of excuses if you don't get the job done. Unfortunately, right? So that's why it's so crucial to get the Michael Parsons deal done. It's so crucial to make sure that you bring in enough guys so that your roster can be completed and not scrambling and scraping and thinking that you got everything on the line and you throwing a ball to a Jalen Brooks. And I'm not beating him up, but you throwing the ball to a Ron Flanoy. These are not known commodities. So what teams been doing, teams that's been winning, they have a system in place and they have structures in place that they know if this goes down, of course, I can bring up the next man up and we can continue to have the same or similar production. If I can't do that, then what you will see with teams is the moment someone get hurt or the moment someone goes down, then they will go into this mindset of you hearing this news about somebody being traded because they want to keep that inertia that momentum,
Receiver like CeeDee Lamb, who's so capable of lining up inside, outside, and so versatile as a receiver. When you want somebody opposite him, how much does size matter in that conversation where you have a guy like Tet, who's a very tall receiver, and then you got a guy like Matthew Golden, who's shorter but runs fantastic routes and all of that?
Little draft.
Yeah, I think they come in all, pardon the phrase here, but all shapes and sizes. I mean, some of them are smaller and really fast and can be very productive. And then you got some that their productivity comes from their length and contested catches and great hands and, great ways to use their body. I mean, they do come in all forms in terms of, how they can be productive. And certainly there's guys in the draft that, fit both molds. And but if they do one of them, at an elite level, then certainly they have a chance to make a huge difference.
Is this specific NFL draft looking different at all in terms of value? There seems to be some thought out there that like players 10 through 40 are kind of interchangeable, or players 40 through 80 might be kind of interchangeable. Have you found that to be the...
I mean, I think there is some depth in this draft, and I think, if you were going to say maybe it's not real top heavy in terms of, the top of the draft being inordinately strong. I think there's some really good football players, don't get me wrong, but I do think this draft, you can get really good football players, through the first half or, even into the second half of the draft.
No doubt. I'm here. I've got a good question under there stating that Ace Boogie says, why should we bring in Nick Chubb after the draft? I'm seeing him still moving weight around. I know people have reservations on his health. This would be the reason why you would bring in a Nick Chubb after the draft. If the board don't fall the way you want the board to fall, right? There's been crazier things that happen in the draft. So what you ultimately need to do is, after the draft, you still scoop around and you pick up a Nick Chubb. If the board don't fall the way you want it to be, bring them in. You need camp bodies. I will say this, in 2016, there were at least 7 running backs on the team, active team, right? That the Cowboys had 7 running backs. So you can never have too many running backs if you're going to be a team that do a lot of running of the ball, okay? All right, let's listen to more of what he had to say.
So, we feel real good about where we're sitting and think we can get a really good football player or given the opportunity to. I don't see us moving up, but.
Riggs! What happened?
All right.
First half or, even into the second half of the draft. So, we feel real good about where we're sitting and think we can get a really good football player or given the opportunity to. I don't see us moving up, but.
Riggs! What happened?
All right. Well, I think.
We still got you, Stephen?
Hello?
Oh, yes, we got you.
Yay.
Yeah. You said you don't necessarily see yourselves moving up, and then we lost you there.
That means the world, the universe, the multiverse. If you believe in the multiverse, we're trying to tell you, Stephen Jones, don't give away your secrets, It goes to this particular part right here. I think Boss Cowboy Sports kind of put that out there yesterday or last night, basically, and said, Lord, this could be a good thing, right? By him spitting out what he's saying that he don't see in another team that's really liking a certain player at 12, then they can be willing to move up to your spot and say, hey, I feel you, Cowboys, since the player that you really want is not there, let us move into that spot. You can hold players for hostage right there, right? Because there will be some things in the draft that there will be a player that can fall and slip. I heard this morning that Michael Irvin saying that basically Shador Sanders is Joe Burrows. Yeah. He comped him to Joe Burrows. So let's say that Shador start falling and he's at that 12th spot. Shoot. There will be teams that'll be knocking at the door talking about, hey, Jerry, hey, big head, what you got, what you want to get for this particular spot. Come on with it.
Yeah, I don't necessarily see us moving up based on the way the board's coming together, but, could see a situation where we'd move down, but we're also, you always look at that pick. We've had some, good things happen to us, just outside of the top 10 with guys like Andre Ware and Micah Parsons and Zach Martin, Hall of Fame type players that are, that fall to you. And
who is Andre Ware? Rewind. Who's Andre Ware?
Just outside of the top 10 with guys like Andre Ware and Mike.
Who is Andre Ware? Is he talking about DeMarcus Ware? I don't know. Who's Andre Ware?
Micah Parsons and Zach Martin, Hall of Fame type players that are, that fall to you and you just pick them. And that very well could be the case in this draft.
I've always been kind of curious. We get to watch the War Room, Stephen, and we get to see you on the phones going back and forth and all those things. In the conversations of trading draft picks, is the value, especially right now, outlandish when it comes to these things? These draft picks are more valuable.
Yeah, I think it's consistently. I don't think it's necessarily, going through the roof in terms of the value of picks. I think, picks are valuable. I do think. If any can get.
Hey, Andre Ware he's in the Heisman room, I don't think he ever played for the Cowboys, though. Oh, he meant DeMarcus Ware. Okay, I was like, wait a minute. I said, let me see. Who is Andre Ware, though? He got Andre Ware, okay, all right, good. And he got his own podcast. He's a Heisman Trophy. It looked like he used to be a quarterback or something. Yeah, CFB, okay, come on with it. All right, come on, shout out to Andre Ware.
I think it's consistently. I don't think it's necessarily, going through the roof in terms of the value of picks. I think, picks are valuable. I do think, if anything, I would say, you can get some value in veteran-type players that teams have decided they need to move on for cap reasons. There's some value out there. Of course, we've made, some trades here in the offseason that we felt really brought, some players to us that can really be of value to us next year. Feel like we,
Robert Simmons, $20. What's up, Law Nations and chat? Today is my birthday. #Aries.
All right, man. Happy birthday to you, Robert, man. Look, man, you sending us money on your birthday, man. I appreciate you, man. Thank you so much, man. May God continue to bless you. The Grand Creator continue to push you forward. You have it a whole circle around the sun, or the sun circling around you, however you want to look at it. We really appreciate you, Rob, man. Thank you so much. And, hey, for Robert, on his birthday, can we get the whole chat group to put RS in the chat with some fires in it, if possible? And RS, fire. Happy birthday to you, man. I would sing a song, but the way my voice is set up, Yeah. So, man, put RS in the chat with all of the fire that you can exhibit and exude. Put some RS in the chat, man. I appreciate you on your birthday, bro. Happy birthday. Yes, indeed. Come on with it.
I've done a really good job of really solidifying our team in terms of depth, in terms of being able to draft pure in the draft. I think we got a lot done this off season, and like I said, it's not over yet. We'll continue to look at opportunities to help this football team.
I saw Ashton Genty was on with my friend Kay Adams, and he said Jerry was holding up a championship belt and admiring it when he walked in. Is that an inspirational move on Jerry's part, like larger than life at all times? Is that on him?
Oh, he likes to have fun with these young men, and I know he does that. He's got that trophy that's in there that was a gift to him from one of the events we had out at the stadium. Another one I really like that he does is lately he's gotten to where they get their mother on the phone, and as we all love, and one of the most important things in most men's life is their mother, and certainly these guys are no different, and they really enjoy. They smile ear to ear when they get their mother on the phone with Jerry. And a lot of times I'm sitting in there. A lot of times Jerry and I will interview a player together, and it's been real fun watching these guys react to their mother and how they interact with Jerry and myself. And that's been entertaining, and you can see a lot about a young man in terms of what they think of their mother. And you can tell these guys are certainly deferred to their mother.
Do you
Yeah. The moms, man, they know best, man. When you have them. Marvin Jenkins said, "Don't sing, Lord. Please don't sing." I ain't gonna sing "Happy Birthday" to my guy Rob, man. But Rob, man, whatever you need for your birthday, man, I might sing a song or something, But the moms, man, them moms knows, man, and Jerry being able to get the moms and them on the phone, that's everything. While they are in the midst of Jerry, that's good stuff.
think maybe there should be consideration not for Hard Knocks, but for Jerry interviews players' moms as the next NFL show? Because I would watch that.
It's actually I know one thing. It's been very entertaining for me. So it might just be something that would be for these guys to catch on camera. And I think it's very it's very genuine. It's very organic, and you can tell the players really like it and enjoy it. I mean, they're smiling ear to ear, and certainly usually the mother's just having a ball with it as well. And
the dad's like, hey, if it wasn't for me, man, that kid wouldn't have been able to be there, man. Jerry, don't be smoozing the moms, man. The dad like, well, what about us? We there. I get to stay in mama's baby, daddy's maybes. You know what I'm saying? But for sure that's that mama's baby, right? Yeah, no questionings, when it comes out of the womb of who that kid belongs to. But the dad is like, hey, I think they got my nose in there, got my forehead, eyelids or ears or what have you, or skin tone. But, yeah, Jerry, you're going to have to put me on the phone, But it is for what it is. Speaking of that, when we talk about these type of things, and shout out to Andre Ware. Like I said, he's a Heisman Trophy winner and I believe a College Hall of Famer. So that's my seed. That is right, Jay Lombardi. He said that's my seed. Don't mess around with my seed. I want to pull this up right quick of my guy Michael Irvin, the playmaker, talking about Shador.
As opposed to some of the others that I've heard about when you comp them with Kirk Cousins and all of that, because it says, okay, you can play, but what are you going to do in the big games? We've had some big games from Joe Burrow. We've had similar situations from Shador Sanders. We've seen them do things with less talent in the offensive line. Take teams far places without that offensive line. Stand in the pocket. People like this. Let me crack your cranium and
fertilize your brain. How much money Dion had to give Michael Irvin to say that? All I hear when Steven talk is pie. You ain't got no alibi. Yo, appreciate you for the $1.99, B-Bird. Appreciate you, man. How much money, B-Bird, did Shador father had to give Michael Irvin to say that he equals Joe Burrows? Now, if you guys agree with Michael Irvin and Shador, my guy, but and I know Action Pal somewhere over here watching saying don't hate on my LSU boy Joe Burrows. But how much of similarities do you guys see out of Joe Burrow and Shador? Because if Shador is Joe Burrow level and he fall to the 12, I might just keep him then if that's the case. Michael Irvin got the DL Hughley going on. Yeah. Shout out to my guy. Y'all finna have Irv to give me a phone call and cuss me out. Your next wide receiver coach, Colorado Buffaloes, is the playmaker. The wide receiver coach? Smoking that devil's lettuce. Y'all crazy, man. I know Shador's in there like, yeah.
Give me my theme music.
Come on with it. Yeah.
They hold on to the ball too long. I like to say hey, you man can stand in the pocket, stare down the barrel, and make that throw. It's the same thing. That comp right there, I'll take. Those other comps, I rebuke them. You know what I mean? I rebuke them for Shador. You know what I mean? Because the guy lives in big moments.
Yeah.
You can't go find me the guys in the NFL now that have failed in every big moment and say that's his comp when he has lived in big moments. So that's why I rebuke that.
Well, in any given Sunday, you know, the only thing that you can do is when you are in that war room. No, he's making winners out of bad teams. Yeah, this is from Timon. You know, I'm not gonna beat up the analysis of their playmaker, but I call him prime playmaker. You put them all together, and I can tell you, a man will go to the edge of the earth to protect his son, right? Especially if it's his, you know. So, I ain't talking about daddy's maybes, you know what I'm saying? But a man will go to the edge of the earth to protect his son, you know. Meaning that when you look at Shador's tape, you can talk about he didn't have any weapons. He didn't have X, Y, and Z things. And he was still able to battle and get things going. Like Travis Hunter's not there. Come on with it. Not like when they opened up the transfer portal that everybody was sitting there like, hey, man, I'm going to go over there and play with Prime. He had some. Now, look, we ain't finna go back and say he had nothing. Come on with it. B-Bird, Shador has never taken a snap without his dad as his coach and his life. Ooh, wait. That could be a good thing or a bad thing. See, this is a situation whereas either he's going to flourish without his dad or he's going to be the same or he's going to fall flat to his face, right? Those are the three things that you're looking at out of Shador. Either because sometimes, you know, family members, man, trust me, I love my mom. I couldn't stand my mom when we driving in the car together, though. If I'm driving and she's on the other side, you can't drive cool no more. You can't drive with the one hand on the steering wheel, right? You can't drive without the seatbelt. When mama is in the car with you, sure, you got to turn the music down a little bit. You can't bump it, you know. You can't bump the songs you want to. You want to hear a little this and that to the window, to the wall. You can't play that. So you got the hands on the ones and twos, right? And you driving. And then you can't even switch lane without even using the signal. Who out there that been like that? You know, come on. Y'all know I'm telling the truth. Sometimes your parents can make you be so structured in life, right, that you don't get a chance to see life. You be sitting there like, God, dog, let me let the seat back a little bit. You let me play some Tupac and Biggie or something, you know. But you gotta ones and twos, elbows tight inside, you know, and you gotta look before you turn off into the street. But they mean right, they mean well. But as soon as you drop off, God, I'm glad she gone, so let me turn this music up, you know what I'm saying? Let me turn it up a little bit, you know, come on with it, you know. Let me turn that music up a little bit. Yeah. She talking. Boy, get over. Pick a lane. Stay in the lane. You driving too fast. Turn that music down. So, yeah. Shador going to either flourish without his dad or he's going to be, you know, horrible without his dad. It's gonna be one or the other. Shoot, yeah, been there, Smitty, been there. Now I ain't have a father that rode with me when I was driving though. My father was doing other things. So y'all let me know how dads do when they in the car. You know, shoot, he probably like, man, take that damn seatbelt off and flirt, push the gas a little bit, son. You know, he might be the opposite. Switch lanes, man. Why you in the slow lane? Get in the fast lane. Dads may be different. Y'all let me know in the chat. I haven't experienced that. You know, shoot. Yes, indeed. No sipping gin and juice while you're driving with mom. Yes, indeed. Dad might give you the beer. Hey, man, put it in this cup. Make sure the lid is contained. And when the officer pull you over, don't make no sort of moves now. Just make sure he can't smell it, you know. Look, ain't spoke to Pops in 10 years. Don't know law. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So you don't know, right? Pops may be telling you to run that yellow light. Mom telling you stop at the yellow light. Y'all know I ain't lying though. Ain't that right? You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
We about that life.
Driving with Pops ain't fun either. Okay. Hey, all I know is when I did ride with Pops and stuff, man, you gotta wash the car, you gotta damn near put Armor all over the tires, seats. It was a chore, you know. Hey man, since you hit the keys to the vehicle now bring it back shiny, bring it back smooth. Make sure you vacuum all of that stuff up out of there. Yeah, don't bring it back on a teaspoon of gas. Make sure you fill that all the way up to the top. Yeah. Yeah, dads be like, smash that motherfucker. So we'll see how Shador gonna be. Shout out to B-Bird for that super chat. Also there is this right here. We gonna swing over and talk about Michael Parsons to a degree and see what he had to say. This guy had to say, because he talked about what could be stalling this deal. Yeah. Come on with it.
In 2024, this agent negotiated $1 billion in NFL contracts, and now he's beefing with one of the most powerful owners in sports. Meet David Mulugheta, arguably one of the greatest sports agents on earth. He grew up in Texas and attended UT, where he would eventually become best friends with Jamal Charles. David's journey really begins in 2007 when he goes to visit Jamal Charles at a workout before the NFL draft. This is where he meets Jamal's agent, Andrew Kessler. Kessler was so impressed with Mulugheta that he offered him an internship on the spot at Athletes First Agency. That was in 2010, the summer before he went to law school. He then attended the University of Nebraska College of Law. After graduation, he initially had his sights set on corporate law, but his love for football led him to pivot towards sports management. Finally, in 2012, he officially joins Athletes First, where he had internship 2 years prior. David was known for his negotiation skills and his understanding of contracts, which allowed him to rise through the ranks very quickly. In 2016, he caught the first of many big breaks by
That is very intriguing. Now, I got a chance to talk to David Mulugheta. And of course, most sports agencies, they do get their law degree, right? And your boy Law, I can go take the bar right now, you know, and see if I can get that thing passed or what have you. I got all of the other side of certification. Oh, my bad. But neither here nor there. While I'm pulling this up is that his first major big deal was this guy named Jalen Ramsey, you know, as we can all see. And this is David Mulugheta. My thing is, David grew up being a Cowboy fan, by the way. And he went to UT like he's saying. David, man, do the right thing for the Cowboys, man. See if you can work some deal out and iron this out and smooth it out with Jerry. Jerry's just an alpha male. And when you have more than one alpha male, sometimes things get crossed, you know. And shout out to you, attorney at law, LAW. That would be fitting, right? You know. I really think that these two deals could be a situation. Right, and David Mulugheta still feels some type of way with Jerry, right? Judge Law and Order, that would be nice. Yes, indeed. So I'm thinking that this should be a situation for us, but we don't know. But this will be nice.
by signing Jalen Ramsey, who would go on to become the most paid cornerback of all time. David is also responsible for getting Deshaun Watson a $230 million fully guaranteed contract with the Cleveland Browns, making it the largest fully guaranteed contract in NFL history, and maybe the last fully guaranteed contract we will ever see like this again. Mulugeta reportedly has 86 clients and $1.3 billion in contracts under his portfolio, with $1 billion of that coming from 2024 alone. However, Jerry Jones just threw shots at David during Micah Parsons' contract negotiations, calling him nameless, which sparked Parsons to go to X to let everyone know that he picked David for his negotiation skills, and they are not backing down. They want to make Parsons the highest paid non-quarterback of all time. And this beef between Jerry Jones and David Mulugeta could have some serious consequences, and it might lead to Micah Parsons leaving the Cowboys and testing free agency next season.
He ain't going nowhere. He ain't going nowhere. Jerry is Jerry. Jerry. Let me hear you out on this right here.
Now, this could be typical Jerry Jones drama, or it could be for real. But one thing's for certain, David Mulugeta ain't playing no games when it comes to getting his players money.
All right, so I had to let him finish out that last statement right there. Dog and Pony Show, right? I'm telling you guys this, and it's going to be that, the drama for your mama, keeping the Cowboys relevant, keeping the Cowboys in the news cycle over and over again. This is the plan at hand. And when it starts smelling bad and you need soap and water on it, this is what you need to do. You got to get in full control. Let's talk about control. And first and foremost, I'm talking about control body odor, and that's anywhere. And all you have to do is shop.mando and get $5 off of your starter pack, and that's over 40% with promo code LAW. Shopmando.com. Let's go. I use this body wash odor control, full body control with Mando. They have the product here, and they also have deodorant that you apply under the arm for 72 hours of odor control. You want to be in control. And speaking of control, they also have the product that you can apply all over the body, the invisible cream, and it also fights for 72 hours. Look, it's all about being in control. And with Mando, man, they control body odor anywhere. All you have to do is shop.mando, get $5 off your starter pack. That's over 40% with promo code LAW. Shopmando.com. Let's go, and let's stay in control of your odor. I love it.
Let's go, man!
Let's go, man. Let's go. Be fresh, be clean with Mando. And on top of that, go ahead and purchase Mando to get those discounts. Use promo code LAW. And that invisible cream, it do last up to 72 hours on fresh meat. You can't put it on the dirty meat and be like, smell me. Nah, it ain't gonna work that way. It probably ward off some of the smell, but to get the most and the max capability, man, wash those underarm pits, wash all over your body, put that Mando on, and you secure for up to 72 hours. Tested by the best. Be sure to check them out. All of the information is in the description box. Come on with it. $20 a bottle of deodorant. Come on, Law. But it comes with a whole packet. Yeah. Come with a whole packet. Get invisible cream, the spray con, and the wipes. And you need some wipes. Come on, man. All of y'all use those disposable wipes. Come on with it. Yeah, and then you get the roll-on deodorant. Well, it's like a little tube deodorant. I got my box somewhere way in the other room, but I don't want to leave it and show y'all that. But at the end of the day, I got the invisible cream right here. Come on with it. Shoot, got to stay clean. Come on with it. Ain't that right? For those who tried Mando Pro Sports, let me know in the chat. The invisible cream deodorant. Come on with it. And my woman likes stinky. Ooh, your woman is wild with it, man. God, dog. But neither here nor there. He has that kind of potentials. And this is Abdul Carter on our guy, Micah Parsons. In a crazy world, right? And we've seen crazier things happen. They kind of favor each other. What would have happened if Carter falls in this draft? How would y'all feel? Would that be a crazy thing? Would that be a crazy thing to be at 12 and you have Carter there? which I'm saying that it may not happen, that most of you guys will say that it will not happen, which y'all are right, Fresh meat, use wipes. Yeah, keep meat fresh. Yeah, chill Mo D. Y'all know what I'm talking about. A free Mando pack for life might get Parsons a deal done. Yeah. Let's see, what they talking about.
Is he Micah Parsons waiting to happen?
Yeah, you know what? He is. He has that kind of potential. He has that kind of get off. He has that kind of explosiveness. He has that kind of versatility where he can play off ball, he can play on ball. Like, he asked to play defensive end this year because he wanted to do the same things that Micah did. He saw how lucrative of a decision this could be and how impactful of a decision it could be. Yeah, look, and if Shedeur, if you wind up picking him, you move back into the first round and you wind up picking him, he becomes a decades-long franchise caliber player that winds up winning you division titles. That was a slam dunk. It was a slam dunk draft for them.
Is he Micah Parsons waiting to happen?
So with their talk track there, just to paraphrase the conversation, what they're thinking is if Shedeur falls, and rightfully so, if Shedeur more of a second-round draft pick, and I know we Cowboys, we're not looking at that quarterback. What they're saying is, would you take Carter and then trade back into the first or trade back up to get a Shedeur, and now you have your edge rush plus your quarterback to stay? That will be crazy, and that will be good to a degree, but that's not happening as well. But let's talk about on the defensive backside. I've been giving this guy hell of a time. Oh, my God. And to this degree, the trainer been speaking glowingly of Carson's. Sometimes you can have a step back for a step up, right? For a step forward in this game. And it could be just that, ladies and gentlemen. This is Carson's. I'm not giving him his flowers, but he asked some good, tough questionings here.
What would you say the biggest adjustment?
This is from Big John, one of the trainers. And I ain't going to tell you what he hit me up with. He said, Law, I get it, man, but wait for year 2. The kid been working out. Oh, my gosh, man. Let's go.
From college to the pros would be?
Big John.
I'd say really just like the speed. Receiving faster, plays getting caught a little quicker. But other than that, I feel like it ain't that big of an adjustment.
One thing you wish you would have known going in your first year of college compared to what you know going out of your last year to help you throughout your process?
First and foremost, before we go any further, putting 21 on him, that was a big amounts of pressure on this young kid, right? Putting that 2 and 1, it's a real big pressure, right? One of the things that we can all say, I need NEED, not want. I don't want it. I need. Put NEED in the chat. Need NEED in the chat. For Carson's to just tackle. I need for him to tackle better. I need for him to come down fit and healed. I need him to do that. That's why it was so refreshing to see Josh Butler come into the game, because he was a willing tackler at 187 to 190 pounds. You don't have to be big. I need you to tackle. I get it. You was a rookie last year. You're going to have blown coverages. You're going to be over analyzing, but nothing is telling you not to wrap and tackle. And I hope that Eberflus will get his mindset ready to be aggressive and to come down and hit and field. Because having 14 to 15 missed tackles in a season that you didn't play all of the 17 games is insane to me. Carson's. And, of course, passer rating when targeted was 125. I get that. But I need for you to be a tackler out in space. At least when Trayvon Diggs wasn't tackling, he was giving us results in coverage. But we can't have both things as bad as a DB. You got to be able to fill, hit, and cover. and get a different seatbelt, you know. But get one of them car seat belts, you know what I'm saying, when you put the babies in. Because seatbelt Carson's was ejected. Okay, let's listen to the rest of this stuff. Appreciate y'all. And how y'all feeling? Because I see the interactive is down right now. Should we continue with this show? Because normally we would have hit the 300 marker by now. So what we can do here, if you guys feel, you know, that the content is not good enough, then let me know, because we can go somewhere else. Because we got only 150 likes, 286 people watching. I truly believe if you guys are watching, if everyone hit that like button, that will get the algorithm, you know, however they say that, from that aspect of it. Are y'all okay? Are y'all okay? Are y'all okay? Should I go somewhere else? Jeez. Jeez. Or we should do other content.
All this stuff is business. You know, even NFL, college, all of it's business. And you got to go in there knowing that it's none of the extra stuff. It's a business. If you want to be real, what can you do for me? And that's what it is. So.
What would you say the big?
All right, so that's Carson's. Okay, so I'm going to mute it, and what I'm going to do is tell y'all what these drills are. You know, when you are looking at it, he is watching the quarterback. He's in phase, and he's moving to the inside hip. He's practicing leveraging right now. He's forcing opposition inside. Why he's playing with leverage? When you have your butt towards the sideline, the boundary is your friend. You want to funnel people where the linebacker is at so that you can play with leverage. So is this a telltale sign that he's going to be more inside the slot? No, but these are common drills that you will have to exhibit if you want to be great in the National Football League. He's going to play a lot of boundary technique when you are in this Matt Eberflus system, right? And, you know, DBs, normally when they are not impressed, their first steps is backwards, right? How you can flip your hips, and, of course, we talked about the T-step and all of that other stuff. But what I'm getting at is with Carson's going into his second season, what I'm hoping is that he gets true evaluation through, and I'm talking about this real talk, through the off-season program. Yeah. Range Rover says his problem is his awareness. Like, that's the only thing as a rookie DB I gave him a little grace and mercy, because a lot of stuff was thrown at him, right? He did a phenomenal job against the Browns, but that once tape was out, the Saints looked at that tape and said, okay, he's not willing to step forward and tackle. You can get him out in space. He's too codependent on the safety. If we manipulate him out of his stance, we got him. And his awareness was very, very, very delayed because he's processing. He didn't have those new processing systems that we have nowadays, right? He was processing like, okay, I see the 3-step drop. I'm knowing that quarterback is going to release this ball, but I'm still processing. Where's my safety over the top? Oh, I got no safety. Oh, it's just me. Oh, he's 15 yards down the field. Dude, is that my man? Yeah, that's your guy, you know. And Zim, what Mike Zim was saying basically is this right here. If I can't cuss and chew this kid out, I don't know what I'm doing with this kid. You know what I'm saying? And those were the processing of what we were told, you know. And that's one of the things that we've been having issues with, is that when Zim was out here, he didn't want to roughen the feathers, because those were still a team that was coming off of 12-5. And the worst thing you can do is implement something that can change the mentality of what was already being coached up and taught from Al Harris at the time. So now you got a different philosophy, you got a different situation with these particular guys, and let's see what can all happen with all of this. And and hopefully these things can work his way out. Hold on, give me 1 second here, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, let me save this right quick. Bear with me. Yeah. I don't know if this file gonna be too big. We'll see. you know. And those where we had the meetings of the minds with the coaching staff, even out there in Oxnard. And that's why it's so important to get these details of information so that we can all be on the same page with all of this. Bear with me. Where's Butler? Butler is still recovering, and we'll see whether or not that could be a tangible thing for us or what have you. And hold on, I got to do it this way. Hold on, bear with me. Matter of fact, give me 1 to 2 more seconds here. I'm going to go to this screen right here because I gotta build a plane as we fly me to the moon. Thank you, you know. All right. And that's why we get these conversations going. You know, that's why we talk about the small things that's in this particular cycle with this particular team. And we get things going the best way possible with everything that we do in these inner circles of being in the mix. And you may see a little pause and stoppage here, but boom, boy, we got it going. Come on with it. Yeah. So that's why we've been saying that with Carson's. And I think that right now with Carson's, we got a long way to go. All right, so that's me talking to Coach, and that's last year at Oxnard, right? And we had a lengthy conversation about this, about like what would be the direction, what would be the plan, how do you see yourself? And of course, Zim is out there, he's living the best life. I think he's still on that honeymoon thing. He's still on that honeymoon thing with his Swedes. But we had the great conversations of all of that, and there's nothing wrong with hitting a good cigar and having a real man, grown man conversation. Like I said, we be in certain rooms talking about this. And when we talking about this, I want to let y'all know that I tried to give you guys the unbelievable information. And there's no gatekeeping, you know. If anything, I'm trying to let most and everybody be a part of the conversation that rules the nation. Baby, that's right. And that's, of course, with Clarence, you see, and Calvin, and then, of course, the other two positioning coaches. Well, of course, you see Mike Zim, and we getting things going the best way possible. Cowboy Nation. With that being said, the draft is right around the corner. I can't wait to have y'all input and y'all thoughts on it. We're still going through the planning processing, right? And when we're going through the planning processing, sometimes things get convoluted. Sometimes things go back and forward. So we discussing on time frames and what we're going to have, special guests and things of that nature. It's a lot that we going over with all of these things called conversation pieces, right? But one thing I can tell you for sure, that if you are having a draft party and if you're going to be somewhere, I want you guys to be physically at the location where we're going to be at, and we're still ironing out some of the details. But last season draft party, it was pretty good. We had a lot of people on the table. That's AOC from last year, as well as TP. So some of the things, what a difference a year make. And of course, that's me, Law Nation, and Ray Ray. So what we're trying to do here is we're going to be at a different location, and there will be many other parties, right? There will be many other events, but I would love for you guys to jump on in and get things going. Yeah. So at the end of the day, cigar and libations. Yes, indeed. Yes. I love the comment here. I got my girl Lola says, Cowboy Law, why you don't have shorts on in that picture? Let me tell you something. I want to know which picture you're referring to. You talking about this one right here? Let me tell you something about this right here. I'm from Mississippi, baby. And being out there at Oxnard, the craziest thing of it all, I'm going to tell y'all an insight too. I'm allergic to grass. So naturally, you're going to always see me with long sleeves or long pants on or what have you. Long pants. Pants are long, right? But I tell you right now, Clarence, Calvin, I don't know about Coach Zim, but them boys were freezing. Yeah, it looks sunny out there. But California, that wind cutting like OJ. pause if necessary, or no shade upon, and may he rest in peace. But that win is cutting, charging to my beard, not my heart. If anybody feel offended by me saying that OJ cutting, but that win out there, boy, I would never forget. It's so cold out there in Oxnard. Once the sun is down, like after 4 or 5 o'clock, I was out there my first time out there. I had the tank top on and shorts, believe it or not, out there in Oxnard. I was thinking because it's going to be California weather. I pulled up at Oxnard, and I met up with my guy, Shango. I said, Shango, why you got all the clothes on? He's like, Law, you don't know? Law, you don't know? And I was like, what you mean? It get cold out here. I said, no way. I was up in there stands the first time out there in Oxnard watching the Cowboys, and I was shaking like a leaf on a tree, boy. I was like, God, no. I started taking my bags and putting it all over me. I done fooled around, caught like a cold and everything. It's crazy how California weather is, right? So from here on out, I'm always going to wear something long out there in Cali. Yeah. It was only hot for like 1-2 hours. And Dallas, though. Dallas different, though. Dallas different, But, man, it's Cali weather is weird, I saw somebody with a whole puff jacket. I said, why you got the puff jacket on, Yeah. At nighttime, it get cold. It cutting. Yeah. Cali have the bipolar weather, Yeah, and then near the beach, yeah. So I recommend y'all wear some jeans out there. If y'all ever get a chance to go out there to California for a Cowboys Oxnard deal, which we going to have a great time out there, put some clothes on. Put some clothes on. Jonathan Hall, appreciate you for the $2 support. Appreciate you, man. Thank you for all that you do.
Take the money out! All of it! Come on! You're wasting my time now. Come on!
Windbreakers, Found a knife at Hertz. Oh, I appreciate y'all so much, man. But Lola, if you ever out there in Cali, come on out there. We will have a great time. Yes, indeed. Pookie and Ray Ray and them. Y'all crazy. But we had a great time at the draft party last year, and I want to continue to do that. We had special guests. We had some people that come through. So far, we got Shakerton still, even though we're not having it at their event, at their Shakertons, we will have some beverages and some food provided to you all by them or what have you. Shout out, kudos and credence to Ray for getting the I'm just fast forwarding through everything, and you see, boy, we had ESPN quality out there, man. We had Boss and my guy the OC looking like some executive workers out here, boy. Yeah, giving y'all breakdown, good analysis of what this team should draft and things like that. Let me know if y'all want to see something like that again in the chat. Oh, Lola, you in California? I didn't know. So yeah, I'm gonna see you in Oxnard then, Lola. Come on with it. Shoot. Whatever Lola wants, Lola gets. Thank you. And we're going to have a great time, Cowboy Nation. Let me check one other thing out here. Okay. With all of that being said, man, I love y'all to the moon and back. But there's one thing that I want to say to you all.
It starts from the first phone call. Most of the time, you're going to talk to Gene Burkett, a 30-year partner. You're not going to talk to some employee that just got put on the phones that day.
There are things that are so crucial, especially if it's a cataclysmic event, to have our experts get out and look at the vehicle, witness statements, photos, the whole thing.
Call Frenkel first.
Chosen by the people, feared by the insurance companies. Call Frenkel first.
That's Gene, Scott, and Mark, 214 or 817, and all other threes you can dial. Be sure to reach out to our partners, Frenkel and Frenkel Personal Injury Lawyers. They have a combined of 100 years of experiences. They're located here in the heart of Dallas. So if you're new to the area and you're looking for a lawyer, if somebody ran over your foot, your toe, or you hit your knee at the edge of the coffee table at work and it's been having chronic pains, reach out to our partners at Frenkel and Frenkel Personal Injury Lawyers. If you can't dial that number, visit FrenkelFirm.com and someone will be able to take great care of you, not advantages of you. We're not looking for that, right? No Diddy and none of that other stuff that people be doing over here. Cowboy Nation, I really appreciate you guys so much for all that you guys do for the nation. And as it relates to the interactions, we're going to get on up out of here. But Mama said there will be days just like this. No phone lines today, John. No phone lines. We got a long line of content for you all. Be sure to tune in to, and I appreciate you for your support. We're going to tune in to Cowboys Collective a little later on today. And the nation never sleeps. We're going to put our best foot forward, and we're going to walk forward one day at a time, one movement at a time. I'm going to say this, though, to all that's listening. If there's one thing a man should always do, is mainly to himself stay true. Never allow someone to change your point of view unless what they bring or mean makes sense to you. Never judge a man by sight alone, nor by the height he has grown. And when speaking, keep it at a moderate tone, because raised voices turns hearts into stone. You see, in the beginning, it was brother, I'll ride with brother, roll with brother, morals of life, live, love, and respect for another. Then, oh yes, there are many of those who will try to be smart. Oh my goodness, Adam Garcia, I appreciate you. They would take the decency of the words of a man and rip him apart. You know, those mans you should never call a friend, because they bend the lies around the truth to meet their end. There are many people that will say that they will rock with you and roll with you, and the whole time they will have a knife by the size of your back trying to stab it in you. I would tell you this. Anything and everything that you guys see me do, I'm always elevating and pushing people in the right directions. There are things that you may see that you will not see that I do. Humble that I am. Oh my goodness. I'm going to stop this stream and we're going to open up another one for this press conference review that's about to go live. But I'm going to tell y'all that anything and everything that I do is for the good, is for the great. I want y'all to look up Proverbs 13 and 22. And that's what I'm leaving behind for my offsprings. That's what I'm leaving behind, the legacy that when I'm dead and gone, they don't have to lift up a spoon. They don't have to lift up a fork. They don't have to move in a certain way that I move, because the sacrifice is already given. Look up Proverbs 13 and 22. And for those who try to strike down Law Nation, and for those who go against the nation, just know that I'm operating always out of Exodus. I can't talk today. Exodus 14 and 14. Come on with it. So stand tall or not at all. This is what I do. I operate in my purpose. I move in my purpose. So when you are doing those things for those on the outside, they would never be able to identify what you do. And what's hard for them is easy for me. And that's what I got. There you go, Jay Lombardi, generational wealth. And Mama said, if you want a thing bad enough to go out there and fight for it, to work day and night, to give up your time, your peace, and your sleep? If all of your desires of it makes you quite mad that you don't get tired, and it makes you hold everything tawdry and cheap, if life itself seems empty, and it will, and useless without it, and all that you scheme and dream is about it, ladies and gentlemen, if you'll gladly go out there and sweat for it, fret for it, and plan to lose all terror of your mind, if you would simply, ladies and gentlemen, go after the thing you want with all of your capacity, strength, sagacity, with faith, hope, and confidence, stern pertinacity, if neither cold or the poverty, the famish or fame, or the sickness of body or brain can turn you all away from the things you want, if dogged and grim and besieged and beset with the help of Almighty Jason Barnes, appreciate you for the $20. Thank you so much. And Adam Gracia, thank you for the $100 cash app. Appreciate you. And only God can move within the heart for you to give to the nation, knowing that you will get back multiples in return. You see how the Lord works with giving. You give one corner of a corn, you get 7 stalks, 7 ears. Come on with it. 100 kernels, all of those things, because you get multitudes of blessings when you give. And I really appreciate you. Come on, Cowboy Nation, and anyone that's listening, as they say, stand tall or not at all. That's been my time. I really thank you all for yours. And remember, you're listening to nothing but the best. Let's get it. Come on with it. Come on with it. Where my music at? Come on, music. Yeah. We gonna shut this one down and open up another one. I got some time to go over the other stuff with Tyron Smith. Come on.
I wake up,
Law.
down
Nation.
no drip, this
Roll credits.
run it up. No sleep, no rest.
Come on.
Might crash, might wreck, but first I stretch. Tell run it up. I wake up, flex, thumb down now, check. No drip, this tell run it up. No sleep, no rest. Might crash, might wreck, but first I stretch. Tell run it up. 9 out of 10 roll through my hands, I'm by my lonely.
Come on.
Turn to a savage, now my baby wants to hold me.
Don't hold me now,
I
baby.
love my fans, don't need no friends, I got my homies.
All right.
Thought I could trust you, I find out you tried to zone me.
Don't zone me.
I'm number 1 up on that court, I'm Nick McGrady.
Come on.
The first one in, the last one out, can't call me late.
Can't call All Nation
I
late.
was sending the invoice and they pay me. I need 6 rings like MJ.
Come on, Law Nation, stand tall, y'all.
I wake up, flex,
Imitated but never duplicated, baby.
tell her run it up. No sleep, no rest. Might crash, might wreck, but first
The dog, they get hit with the brick yips. Come on. Yeah.
No drip, this
Come on.
run it up. No sleep, no rest. Might crash, might wreck, but first I stretch. Tell her run it up. Y'all gon' make me take that trip way out to Europe.
All right.
I call up Nigeria, come through in a hurry. Those London boys don't come to play, you should get worried. One false move, find yourself, they getting buried.
All right, come on with
The
it.
devil used to love playing those games. Made some bad decisions that brought my mama pain. I made a promise to her, swore that I would change. I'm on the come up, bet I live up to my name. I wake up, flex, thumb down now, check. No drip, this tell her run it up. No sleep, no rest. Might crash, might wreck, but first I stretch. Tell her run it up. I wake up, flex, thumb down now, check. No drip, this tell her run it up. No sleep, no rest. Might crash, might wreck, but first I stretch. Tell her run it up.
All right, we'll be waiting for the next episode of Tyron Smith press conference. Hey, this would probably be the most you ever heard of Tyron Smith, because he really don't talk much, but he was over Jets land and he was doing a lot of talking. So y'all stay tuned, be tuned, stay tuned in too. And let's congratulate Tyron Smith, the Hall of Famer gold jacket guy that's going to be in the Ring of Honor. DC for life, not for short. That's been my time. I really thank you all for yours. And remember, you guys can fill in the rest. Yeah, yes, indeed. Come on with it. Yeah. Where my photo at? There we go. There we go. Trade back gang. Come on with it.